guys, this is Aziz and it is tech time. Today I'm going to show you a C++ tutorial on arrays, and we'll continue from there to go to pass arrays into functions and inside main. And so let's go ahead and start. Let's go to Visual Studio, and we've done this before. Let's go to File, New, Project, and let's make a C++ project, empty project, and let's name it. I'm going to name it array example. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our main file in the source files. Add new item. Let's go ahead and do C++ file and name it main. Let's go ahead and create our skeleton, which is by doing include iostream and using namespace std and void name and a system pause right in here. Alright, so let's go ahead and include right in here a string library, because I'm going to show you how to use arrays in strings and in integers. So when you declare an integer, you declare it just like that, int, and you give it a name, num equals 0, right? And when you declare a string, you just do string and say word equal nothing, which is double quotes, two of them. That is nothing. But what if you want to make an array of something? To make an array, you just go right by the variable name right in here, int num, and then you open a bracket which is right by the letter B, and you close the bracket, and inside the brackets is the size of the array. So let's go ahead and do a 5. And to initialize it, of course you cannot do 0, and you cannot do 0, 0 either. To initialize it, you have to open the brackets, put a 0, and do comma 0, 0, 0, 0. This is one way of initializing it, or you can do it 3. Let's do this. Actually, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. At position 0, it will be a 0. At position 2, it will be a 2. Position 3 will be a 2. My bad. At position 1 would be a 1. So and so on. It moves on like that, because when you go through the arrays, they start from 0. But to initialize all of them to 0, just to initialize them, you don't have to do one by one, because what if you had 99 in here? What are you gonna do? It will give you an error. So you can just do 0 right in here, and it initialize all the rest of them to zeros. It would just say, oh well, the first one is 0, I'll just initialize all of them to zeros. So it's going to just make it a 5 and make the rest of them to zeros. To do it with strings, you do the same thing. Right behind the variable name, you open, do a size, you close, and right in here you do open the squirrely bracket and do nothing, close the squirrely brackets. So now we have made 2 arrays right in here. To loop through the arrays, let's say to fill them. So let's go ahead and do a loop for integer I equals 0, I is less than 5, I plus plus. And let's go ahead and open and close the brackets. And because we're using 5 as a number, it is better to use a constant. So when you want to change all of this, you can just change the constant once. You don't have to go change this, and change this, and so on in the rest of code. So let's go ahead and do a const right in here, const int max array, or max underscore array. That is better. And let's equal it to 5, because you have to equal the constants, and put it in here, put it in here, and put it in here. Now they are all at 5, and you cannot change the constant because it's a constant. Otherwise, if you do this, this will give you an error. Integer x equal 3, and you want to put x right in here, it won't let you. If you stand over it, it will tell you expression must have a constant value. You cannot play with the arrays, because expanding them and cutting them short is not good with C++. So you want to just make sure that it uses something constant. So max array, we'll use that. So for 5, you want to output them, right? You want to do cout. That's the first thing you want to do. Then to call it, you call num, the variable name, as usual, nothing different. And to know which position it is, you do open the bracket, you do at I, you close the bracket, and that is it. You put a semicolon. And right in here, this is the position, integer I. So you start from 0, next time is 1, next time is 2, and so on. So let's go ahead and put a space in between them, and let's do word at I also. And now it will display all of them. So let's go ahead and do Control F5 or debug, start without debugging. Of course, we didn't put a end line right in here, but it displayed 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then between them is nothing and a space. So I'm going to press enter, and let's put an end line right in here. So now we have done the displaying, but we need to fill it. What about filling it? So let's go ahead and fill it also. We do another for loop, and we use for loops just because we know how long is the size. So let's do x just because we have I already in here. Let's do x equals 0. X is less than max array, which is to go 5 times x plus plus, and let's go ahead and fill them. To fill them, you can do num at position x equal to x, which is to start 0, 1, 2, 3. That is x. And for string, you can do word at x, and I'm going to fill them just with whatever. So let's go ahead and do indie development. There you go. Put a period right in here. It will fill all of them with this word, and it will fill the nums with whatever x is, which is start 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So let's go ahead and debug it. Go ahead and do start without debugging, and here you go. Here's your array. It went in, it filled it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it filled all of them at position x, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as I said already. Indie development filled all of them, and I'm sorry, not 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 is less than 5, but 5 is not less than 5, so it doesn't go through it. It goes only 5 times. And then it displayed it right in here, and then it finished, it got out. So just go ahead and press enter. I will show you what happened in here in the code, line by line. So let's go ahead and press right in here and start debugging. And let's make this smaller actually, drag it to the side. Okay, so now num is not yet made, so F10, or you can press on this right in here, step over. I'm pressing F10, so we do F10 right in here. Now all of them are to nothing, all of them are to zeros, and if you stand over here, X is not made yet. Now it is made. Now num, let's go right in here, let's open num, and let's open word right in here. So num at 0 is 0, and x is 0, so num at position 0 right in here, which is x, will be a 0, and in the development would be at word at position x, which is the first one, and here we go, it changed to indie development. Now we go again, and num at position 1, which is right in here, will change to a 1, and here it is. And then the same thing with this one, the word it changed to indie development, and it will keep doing that until the end. So now this one would change to a 2, this one would change to a 3, this one change to a 4, and that's it, it gets out. Now that it got out, it will print them. Now I is 0, now we start at 0 and at 0. At position num at position 0 is a 0, so it will print a 0 and in the development for word. And same thing now, word is in the development, and num at position I, which is 1, right in here, it will print a 1, and so on till the rest of the code it gets out, and press any key to continue. So let's go ahead and do that, and let's stop it. Now you might ask, what about if you have a file? Well, it's no different. All you gotta do is just take this and put it without a size. If you don't give it a size, it won't give you a size. It would just be like infinite. So you can keep doing file in or in file what the string is. So you can do it like this. I'm just going to show you how to do it. Word at position X, let's say, or position I, and that's it. And it will keep inputting them this way. So I'm going to go ahead and take it. We don't need to do that right now. Let's go ahead and pass them to a function. So let's go ahead and make a function, void, let's call it fill array, for example, and open and close parenthesis, and then open and close brackets. So now this is a good tip for the beginner of programmers. It's better to make your code in main and then just cut it, put it inside a function, and then worry about these and passing them. That made functions much easier for me to use, so it's maybe it helps you, but teachers don't recommend it. So I'm going to go ahead and see that identifier num is not undefined and word. So to pass them, you just do int num, and you just open and close it. You don't give it a size. Same thing with word, string, word, and open and close it. That's it. You don't give them a size right in here, because the size of them will be passed when you pass these arrays. So to make more sense of that, I will just do it. Let's go ahead and copy and paste the prototype, and let's call the function fill array right in here. Now you pass num. You don't pass open and close brackets, you just pass num by itself, comma, you pass word by itself, that's it, and you put a semicolon. Now you don't need to do an and sign, because these brackets by themselves will do it for you, as I understood from my teacher, because you don't need to do an and sign. It will pass it back automatically, and in here you don't need to do brackets, it will pass it automatically. So let's go ahead and pass this into a function too. Just going to cut it, right click, cut, and let's go ahead and do a function void display array, and you can do int, or let's not do anything yet. Let's paste the code and then see what's wrong. Now we see that this is wrong. So int num, make it an array, and string word, make it an array, and that's it. So to call it, you do, let's take the prototype first and paste it right in here. Put a semicolon at the end, I forgot that. Okay, let's go ahead and call it right in here, display array, open parenthesis, pass num, pass word, close it, close parenthesis, and let's go ahead and run it. I'm going to run it in debugging mode, so let's go ahead and make it smaller, and let's put a dot right in here and a dot right in here. F5, here we go. Let's drag this to the side. So now we've reached into here, because it went to this line and reached into here. So I'll just show you to make sure that you understand it in a better way. There's two dots right in here, there's a dot right in here. So here we are at line fill array, and let's drag this to the side, and now it will go to this line. F10, it went to this line. F10, it's in here. It will make X max array, and at X is equal to 0, and here we go, num and word will be now into development, and then the next num will be a1, and so on. It seems like we're running into an error. The error here turns out to be, as I expected, somewhere in the back. Let's close this file, and it is right in here. let's close this. Because we haven't given it a size or anything, when we're filling it, it gave us an error, and I don't understand this error. It's throwing about size or whatever. So let's go ahead and just call max array and give it a size, and I'll show you later how to do it with a file. So let's go ahead and run this code, F5, and let's put this on the side. So let's go ahead and do F10, 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 and it's filling it just fine, just like before. And here we go. We get out, we go to display array, and it goes to show it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it is done. System pause, here it is, and it is completely done. So let's go ahead and close it. Alright, so now that you saw this happening, you want to do it with, let's say, a file. So let's go ahead and create a file. Right click, add, new item, and the resource files, and let's go all the way down and do a text file, and let's name it input. Inside input, let's do indie development.co, and let's go ahead and save. Alright, what if you want to do these functions in a more simple way? You want to display them but separately, let's say, so you don't have to make a function for each time you want to display one of them. So let's go ahead and change that a little bit. You can do one for just characters. So we're gonna make a character right here, char, and let's call it letters, and let's open and close. We won't give it a size, and let's end that. Alright, and let's give it initialization. They're all to spaces. Now it won't give us any errors with it. So let's go ahead and make a function just for characters. So later on, if you have more than one array of characters, you can display them separately. You don't have to do one function for all of them. So let's go and do void display char array and open and close. Okay, so to do that, you can do a char as it is. It's a char array. So char letters and open and close, and right in here you do a for loop for integer x. Let's do that, or let's do I equals 0, I is less than, and we can pass the size in here. So let's go ahead and do int size and less than size and I plus plus, and let's do cout letters at I, close it, and that's it. So now we can pass the size and we can pass the letters, and let's do a fill. So void this fill char array. So let's go ahead and do it through a file. So let's do ifstream and fn, because I've showed you that in functions, and if you need to remember that, you can just go ahead and watch the video. Let's do comma, and let's do the char letters open and close, and let's pass the size, integer size. Let's go ahead and open and close the parentheses. Let's copy this, copy, paste, and let's do in here fn, and it will input them right inside the position of I. This error right here is because we haven't included the library for files, include fstream. Okay, here we go. So let's go ahead and make a file right in here, the input file. So let's go ahead and do ifstream fn, and you can do this fn.open, or I'm going to do it differently, open and then just call the name input.txt. You can do this too, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that just to give you an option. So now we've opened it. Now let's call the functions. Let's take their headers and put them as prototypes. Right in here, this is the first prototype and this is the second one. Alright, let's put an enter between them to make sure that these are the characters one, these are the ones that are general. Let's go ahead and call it fill char array, and let's open it. Now the first parameter is fn, and the second one is letters, so letters, here it is, and this third one is the size. So the size, we're just going to do max array. Or I'm sorry, we don't need to do that. Actually, we can just close it right in here, and we can do the display char array, and let's do letters right in here, open and close, and let's do the size, which is max array. There's no need for that. Let's go ahead and do that, and let's copy paste it right in here. I misspelled a letter right there. So let's go ahead and make sure that there are end lines right in here, or you know what, we don't need to do that because we want to display them letter by letter. So let's go ahead and run the code. Debug, start without debugging, and here we go, we have an error right in here. So where it is, okay, semicolon right in here, apologize for that. Start without debugging, and here we go. We haven't put an end line right in here. I'll make sure to show you exactly what happened right here. Let's do an cout end line right here to separate these two outputs, and let's run it. So here it is. See that? INDIE. These are 5 letters right in here coming from the input, which is INDIE. So let's go ahead and press enter, and stack around the variable letters was corrupted. This error happens a lot and it's very hard to find it, but I will run through this error and show you what happened in here. It happens a lot to it. So let's go ahead and not worry about that for now. Let's run through the whole file. What about that? So let's go ahead and do, instead of this, we will do while. Actually, this is the wrong function. This is the function that we want to do. So while not filename.eof. So while it's not the end of the file, let's open and close it, and let's fill it, and we will create an int right in here, int size, or we already have a size right in here. So what about doing this size right in here, passing size right here, and doing size plus plus. So let's see, will this be fine? You take an input, you check, you take an input, you check. Yep, this will be fine. And the size, we will pass it back in this time to the function that's behind it, which is right in here. So what we will do in here is, where is size right in here? Okay, we'll make an integer right in here, right behind this, comma, and we call it size and equal to 0. And we will pass size in here, and we'll pass size in here too. So what will happen is that the size will pass through this function, and let's go ahead and change. Should we change anything in here? No, no need. The size will pass in here as a 0. It will go to this function and goes in here, and then at position 0, and then this plus plus 1 2 3, and then when it's done we know how many that we've got, and then we will pass it to this function, which is the amount of the letters we've got. So let's do one input right before, let's do one input right after, so we make sure that we don't run into 2 different ones. And let's go ahead and see what this error is. More than one instance of overload function matches this argument list. What is the problem? The problem here is we didn't change this to update the header right in here, and this is the error that you get, unresolved external symbol. When you see this error right in here, you will know that you messed up on the prototype, so go ahead and change that. So let's go ahead and run the code, Control F5 or debug start without debugging. Let's see what happens. And here we go, indiedevelopment.co. It ran through the whole code and finished it. So let's go ahead and see what happened. Put a dot right in here, and let's put a dot here. Let's put a dot. Well, this is simple, so I'm not gonna go ahead and show you it, but let's put a dot anyway. F5, and let's minimize it. Grab it here. Okay, F10. Now we are inside the input. So we take the first input at position 0. If not the end of the file, okay, then add it. So +1. So now it says position at position 1 because size is 1, and then it keeps inputting right in here. See that? ND I, and it's filling it one by one right in here. You can see it. Development dot co, and there's size ++ and input something, and then it would see that it's not the it's the end of the file, but the size ++ is 19 now. And let's go ahead and do F10 and go to display, and then let's display it one by one, which is right in here in the development PMENT dot C and O. Here it is, and we get out, and that's it. And this is the rest of the codes, and there you go. So let's go ahead and stop debugging. So let's go ahead and summarize all of this and what happened in here. So in here we made a constant for the array size, because now if I want to change the array size, I can change it to 10. And let's run the code again, Control F5, and here we go. It goes to from 0 to 9. So I don't have to go ahead and change right in here, change right in here, and change right in the for loops. I can just go and change the constant, and that is it, which is this. So let's go ahead and make it F5. And here these are just normal prototypes, you don't need to worry about them. Inside here we made a file, we made the arrays. This is how you initialize an array. Int num, just normal, you give it you call, and the type, you call the variable name, whichever you want to name it, and then you open and close the bracket, and inside is the size. You don't have to give it a size like you see in here, but you have to fill it, and you have to equal it to something. You have to initialize it, which in this case is 0, nothing, and space. You can initialize all of them by doing just the first one, and it will initialize the rest. We did a size right in here, so we can pass it to this function. The fill char array will fill it with letters from this file right in here, and it will finish and gives us how long is the size, and it will pass it then again by an and sign to this function, and this function would know how long to go and output all of it. And here we pass num and word. So when you want to pass arrays, you pass them just by their name, you don't pass the brackets. But inside function you give them these the open and close bracket, the normal brackets, to tell the function that it's an array, but you don't give it a size. When you pass it, it will know the size, and if it's too long, it will crash. So let's go ahead and see what else. So these functions are normal: fill array, display array. You fill it and you display it. But if you want to make a more specific one for filling and displaying, for let's say chars or just in strings or anything, you can make it like this. This is a char one, this is a int and strings. You can make it however you want, and you can fill it this way by doing num at what position you want it to be, equal to whatever you want it to be. So word at position X equal to this whole thing, because it's a string. other than that, there is nothing you need to do about adding a library. It's included in the iostream library. So I hope this was easy for you, and if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask it on my YouTube page or on our website indidevelopment.co in the forums. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.